What's up everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel Haku, and today I present to you, made by the Blue Lock PWC Discord server, tier lists for Blue Lock Project World Champion Global. Now this is the first time I've done a tier list video like this. These tier lists have mainly been constructed by friend Emil and myself, with a bit of input from Afro as well. So yeah, we do know what we're doing, so I will tell you that you'll be able to trust these tier lists. If you want, I can elaborate them. I probably will throughout the video as well. We've done 3 of them, one for level 50, one for level 65, and one for level 100. You will find all of these tier lists in the Blue Lock Project World Champion Discord server, of which the link will be in the video description as always. So I think let's not waste any more time. Let's look at the first tier list, which would be level 50. So level 50 is a pretty straightforward list. We've got Isagi in F tier, the free Sagi, because he's a free unit. It's to be expected. His passives are not great, his tiles are not great. He is just not that guy, really, I have to say. So he's in F tier. Igaguri and Ryu are in D tier. Now, if you're wondering why that is, especially with Ryu, since he has a blue exercise machine tile, his training abilities are actually really bad. Other than training physical boost up and training kick power boost up, he only has skill level up. And that skill level up isn't a lot, like 3 or 4, it's only 1. So all his passives are the default stat boosts that every character has, mixed with, well, getting level 2 skills instead of level 1. Honestly, that's just really not it. So for Igaguri, however, the case is a little bit worse, since he only has 1 stat buff, and then he has 2 of the most useless abilities in the game. Event stat boost up, which boosts stats gained from dialogues or random training events, and training condition consumption down. That can be useful, but on level 50, when all you really have to offer is training physical boost with a training card that doesn't boost the physical stat, you don't deserve to be anywhere above D tier. Now, for the category of C tier, we can categorize the ones on the right are people that all essentially have only stat buffs, but then add either match bonus or training bonus into the mix. For both Chigiris, for Mitoma, and for Zantetsu, it's practice match bonus, which raises stats gained from practice matches throughout the run. Revenue matches are included in those, although the stat gain from those matches generally isn't that good. While characters like Loki, Reo, and Nico all have a training bonus. It's worth noting here that training bonus boosts all of the stats obtained in a training, so that's pretty nice. Of those training bonus units, Nico has the highest training bonus, so technically he could be sitting on top. I didn't put these in any order, it's just tiers and no real order within, although Nico's other passives are fairly shite. As for B tier, this is when you come to units that you should look out for and start using. Well, one of them is the first Reo, because he's better than the second Reo in this regard, because he has special training rate up, which means with his blue exercise machine tile and his gold dribbling training tile, these will spawn a little bit more often and let you gain more stats than just from training bonus. You can stack training bonus all you want in the end, but if you don't get tiles, it's relatively useless. Now, the biggest problem of Reo is that his training abilities boost speed and intelligence while having no card that boosts intelligence, and only boosting speed as a secondary or tertiary stat in, on the card. Now, Kunigami, Rin, V2 Baro, and Bachira, if I'm not wrong, are all units that have lecture bonus on level 50. It's quite nice to have, it increases the stats gained from special lectures. Now hereby I would rank them the following: Bachira because he has the highest lecture bonus if I recall correctly, Baro V2 because of his tiles, Kunigami because he boosts kick the most, and his tileless kick, and then Rin because while he boosts kick more than intelligence, he has an intelligence based tile that doesn't boost kick. So I think out of those pure lecture givers, Rin is the worst, but all of them are still pretty good, and I would consider Rin despite that for a training comp still. Well, for the first Baro, he obviously has the disadvantage of only having one tile instead of two, but he does have special training rate up, which is a quite nice passive. We've talked about it before. Training rate up is just something you can never go wrong with, because even if you don't get many special lectures or high stats on those, at least you get tiles. It's like the safest way of getting good runs other than practice match bonus, which is just really fucking boring. And yeah, Gacha Isagi, who you can see in B tier, has lecture rate up. Now this is interesting because lecture rate up potentially is the better passive out of special training rate up and lecture rate up. However, for this Isagi, his lecture rate up doesn't really matter as much. He does have two tiles, a blue mental imagery training card and a blue lockman shot practice card, but he only boosts intelligence, so the only tile that can make something out of those lecture rate ups is the mental imagery training. Because even if you get a special lecture from his kick tile, he will be on it, and he doesn't buff kick in the slightest, so that's essentially almost a lost slot. So while for wisdom comps he can be pretty great even on level 50, I would evade him if you're going for kick or similar stats. Now for A tier, in A tier, we've got players who have a good overall set with high percentages on their passives and or good tiles. You can see that there's no player in A tier or above that only has one tile on level 50. In X Nagi's case, he has special training rate up, boosts kick as his main stat, and has two kick tiles, a golden and a blue one, which just all syncs very nicely. So that is why he is in A tier. For S tier, it's not quite enough, but we'll go over A tier, over S tier in a brief second. Now for Awakened Isagi, the lead actor stage Isagi, he also has lecture rate up, just like Gacha Isagi, but he also comes with a training bonus, and he has two intelligence-based cards, while boosting intelligence as the stat, so he gets one more tile that benefits more from the lecture rate, while also having a training bonus on top that Gacha Sagi has condition consumption down, if I recall correctly. Now for Awakened Bachira, he is in A tier as well. He features special training rate up as well as 3 stat boosts, stamina, technical, and speed. Speed is the best trainable stat in the game as of right now, due to the likes of Loki, X-Rayo, and so on, Mitoma as well. So it's generally really nice, and his technical boost, which is his highest boost, benefits well from the special practice rate since he has two dribbling training tiles which have technical as their main stat. Now for Awakened Mitoma, he is the next one that I'll go over. He has lecture rate up as well, and he boosts speed and technical, which for him it works. He has two tiles, Ultra Shuttle Run and dribbling training, and he boosts both of those main stats, so whatever lecture he creates, he's gonna be useful, he's gonna boost the stats nicely, which is why he is in A tier despite only, in quotation marks, having training technical boost up. Now the last one in this tier is the latest Nagi. I got him to know as V2 Nagi or Bicycle Nagi. The correct title is Dynamic Trapper, if I recall correctly. He also has Lecture Rate, so he's essentially just like Mitoma, but he has 2 green tiles. He boosts Technical and Kick and has a Dribbling, and a Blue Lockman Shot Practice card, and hence absolutely deserves his spot in A tier. Now let's go over S tier, and surprisingly, out of S tier, I might just rate Sniper Pass Ryo Mikage the lowest out of those. Now listen, the reason why he's above all of those characters having special practice rate or lecture rate is that he actually has special training rate up with 2 speed tiles, which is the main stat that he boosts, but he also has a high practice match bonus with 32% on level 50, making him a really solid all-rounder for comps. So even if you don't get as many good tiles, his practice match bonus will still come in handy to do you some good. Now for the top 2, Awakened Kunigami and Pablo, Kunigami is an early level monster. On level 50, he obviously boosts 2 stats, Physical and Kick, which his training cards adhere to with the red exercise machine and a gold Blue Lockman Shot Practice card. But he also has special training rate up. And it doesn't end there. Not only is his special training rate up quite high, I believe higher than Rayos even, but he also has special lecture bonus on level 50. So all you need is workout gear with lecture rate, and you can create some really devious cards even with level 50 aerial battle Rensuke Kunigami. Now for Pablo, who is sitting on top of the list, he also features special lecture bonus. But what made me give him the edge over Kunigami is his dribbling training special occurrence rate. Since it's only one certain training instead of affecting all of the cards, the rate is much higher, sitting at, I believe, around 35% on level 50, which is really nice since technical is his main stat after all. So that is it for the level 50 tier list. Let's move right on to level 65. And you can already see some changes. Freesagi is still an F tier, Igaguri is still in D tier. They really don't get better. Now, what changed next is Nagi is still in C tier. He gets skill level up, and if he didn't have that training bonus mixed with 2 tiles after he got added a red dribbling training, he would most likely be in D tier next to Igaguri. Although he is better than the next person on the tier list, Chigiri, who gains training technical boost up. He only has 1 tile, he only has practice match bonus. He's really shit. Honestly, Chigiri just barely escaped D tier hell. But practice match bonus is still better than all of what Igaguri has, so we'll give him the pass on this one. Mitoma V1 also only has practice match bonus going for him, but he has 2 dribbling training tiles with technical being his main stat, so he does get a pass here with an Ultra Shuttle Run tile at level 65, which isn't really optimal. He's still suited for C tier. Now let's look at Zantetsu. The ability that Zantetsu gets is Event Stat Boost, which makes him essentially the same as Mitoma. He gets a Black Exercise Machine card, which is quite nice since he boosts physical as well as a secondary boosted stat. But just like Mitoma, he doesn't bring much to the table otherwise. And there's even a third person who fits right into this category, being Chigiri V2, Awakened Chigiri, who also just gains another stat boost, being Intelligence, while having practice match bonus and event stat boost up already unlocked. What is nice about Chigiri though is his green tile, but that isn't enough to get him out of C tier. Now for Nico, what Nico gets is a training intelligence boost up, since Nico does not have any stat buffs before level 60, his abilities before that are training bonus, condition consumption down, and event stat boost up. So now he's a little bit better with his mental imagery card. His black card is Blue Lockman Shot Practice, which seems a bit out of place, but with his training bonus it'll work somehow. However, it will not work good enough to be placed above C tier in this list. Now Gagamaru, who has essentially been transformed into Honda, gets skill level up, which just really isn't it, so we can just go over him quick and move on to Awakened Reo, who just gets his 4th stat buff. He already boosts technical, stamina, and intelligence on level 50, which, if you know his growth rates, fits right into his scheme, and as does the last one, being training speed boost up, which just really is nothing. But he does have the training bonus and he has 2 tiles as well, one of them being a green one. So the intelligence boost will come in handy with the newly unlocked mental imagery training. Better than C rank, however, he still will not be. Now for Raichi, he gets training bonus on level 60, which honestly is the only reason why he's not in D tier for this one, because he only has stat buffs before. The reason he wasn't in D tier on the level 50 tier lists were that those stat buffs were actually really good, and he's also a solid unit to use as well. But even the extra circuit training card, adhering to his stamina style instead of physical, can't save him from being placed in C tier. Now let's move on with B tier. Next up is Reo, who is somewhat stuck in B tier, getting only a training physical boost up. That, however, is quite nice since he unlocks a black exercise machine card and it also works well with the blue exercise machine card that he already has. And let's not forget he does have special training rate up, so he overall now has a nice synergy going for him. And next in the list is Ryu, who went from D rank to B rank by unlocking special training rate up. Now, that is when he finally starts to be useful, since now his 2 exercise machine tiles and his 1 Blue Lockman shot practice tile will finally start spawning well, synchronizing well with his physical and kick buffs. Next up in B tier is Loki, and Loki only really is in B tier because his constant speed bonus is not that high. I think at level 65 it should be around 4%, which really isn't a lot, but constant speed boost up is a passive that I will elaborate further when we move on to the level 100 tier list and take a look at Loki there. He does get the circuit training card, which is nice since stamina is his secondary boost, and he's probably one of the better units in B tier, but it's still not enough for A. Let's go over Tokimitsu. Tokimitsu is a great unit in itself, by the way, but on level 60 he also unlocks Special Lecture Bonus. Special Lecture Bonus is really nice, as you all know, so with his training bonus that he already has and the newly unlocked black card, that is enough to be placed in B tier, right next to Rin, who carries over the Special Lecture Bonus from earlier. Now finally gets a Blue Lockman shot practice card, so his good kick buff will finally come in handy now. But other than a special lecture bonus, he's got nothing to show for himself, so he's sitting comfortable in B tier still. For Awakened Barrow, he gets a training bonus, which is quite nice. So Barrow, just like Loki, is one of the better units in this, since he has 3 stat buffs, a training bonus, and a special lecture bonus, as well as 3 nice tiles, 2 of them being Dribble, with technical being his 2nd highest boosted stat, and 1 of them being Kick. So he's quite solid, while V1 Barrow on the other hand kinda stinks against it. So on level 65, I would definitely use Awakened Burrow over V1 Burrow. Since V1 Burrow only receives training condition consumption down and a mental imagery training card that he doesn't benefit from at all since he doesn't boost intelligence, technique, or even stamina. Now moving on with Kunigami, he unlocks Lecture Rate, which almost made me want to put him in A tier. Lecture Rate and Lecture Bonus generally is a great combo, but if his tiles weren't so shit, he could easily be considered A tier or even better. However, only a gold Blue Lock Man shot practice and a circuit training which doesn't even place focus on physical but rather on stamina is just really not that great for him. He can still be used in muscle comps, but the problem is that he doesn't boost stamina or physical as a stat until level 80, so you'll have to be very patient with this one. Second to last in the list is Butcher, and I'm kinda sad about this Butcher because he kind of falls off later on. On level 60 he gets the skill level up, he gets the circuit training card which matches well with his stamina boost, but other than a special training rate up, there's really not much to show for him. So yeah, he could definitely be better and even gets outshadowed by his previous version on level 65. As for X-Nagi, he also gets skill level up, but as I've mentioned before, his tiles are nice, he has a good special training rate up, he boosts kick and speed, and his black card that he unlocks is speed based with kick as a substat, so his tiles just match his set really well, which is why he's in high B tier. Now moving on to A tier, you might be surprised to find that X-Rayo has downgraded from S tier, which is mainly because his level 65 passive, his level 60 passive is training condition consumption down. Now this can be nice, but it's just really not up there with the good passives. There's so many better passives in the game now, such as constant stat up, special training rate, lecture rate, honestly even match bonus that he already has, lecture bonus obviously. There's so many good cards, but his black dribbling training that he gets mixes well with his technical and speed boosts, and he doesn't lose his match bonus and special training rate up, so he stays in high A tier. Joining him and actually overtaking his other version is Dynamic Trapper Seishironagi, since he gets special training rate up, which means now on level 65 you have a technical kick-based unit who has lecture rate up, special practice rate up, 2 green tiles and a black tile, which can be very helpful with maintaining awakening in kick comps, and on level 65 I would honestly take Bicycle Kick Nagi over the X Nagi. Now for Bachiro V1, his biggest flaw is getting mental imagery training while only having technical as the stat that he boosts. However, he gains lecture rate up. And if you remember the level 50 tier list, he already has lecture bonus, which means he can create lectures, boost them since technical is a part of all his tiles, boost them with his nice about 20% multiplier on level 65, and also apply his special lecture bonus to it, which is higher than most others. As for the Isagis, both of them have special practice rate if I am not mistaken. However, Awakened Isagi has it for only mental imagery training and hence at a higher percentage, so I would put lead actor stage Yoichi Isagi a tiny bit above Gachasagi since his lecture rate and imagery training rate is higher, while also having the training bonus, but both of them are quite solid supports. As for S tier, we've got Pablo still. He gets practice match bonus, which is really nice. It's a good overall ability, and comparing to the likes of Rayo or Gagamaru, there's definitely some passives that are much worse he could have received. So Pablo's one of the units that just stay winning, and his other kick tile is pretty nice, even though it doesn't really get affected by the dribbling training special occurrence rate, which is his biggest flaw and the reason he's placed bottom of S tier. Now let's take a look at Awaken Mitoma. He already has lecture rate up, boosting speed and technical while only having ultra shuttle run and dribbling tiles, and on level 60 he gets a special lecture bonus, which is really nice to go with lecture rate, turning his tiles and himself into an actual solid stat giver, and hence manifesting his place in S tier. As for Kunigami sitting on top of S tier, he gets practice match bonus just like Pablo, which means he has special training rate up for all of his tiles as opposed to Pablo, special lecture bonus just like Pablo, practice match bonus just like Pablo, while also having a black kick card, and kick just like Pablo is arguably the best stat to train in the game next to speed. So far for level 65, one tier list is left, which is level 100. I don't think I need to go over anyone in B, C, or D tier, because honestly, they're all just not worth using at this point of the game, but I will explain everyone in A tier and above why they can be good. Now, Toki's just a stat monster, since once he's on level 100, he gives, I believe, 60% stamina and 40% physical on his stats. So if you get him on level 100 in a comp, with his lecture bonus paired up, if you get him on a special lecture, he will provide stats like no one else. Tokimitsu is stats. No tiles, he doesn't produce lectures, he doesn't produce cards, but he produces stats, and that's why he gets the edge and the privilege of being placed in A tier. Aryu's in A tier as well, gaining 2 amazing passives on level 80, training bonus and lecture rate up. 2 great passives that I don't really have to talk about, I believe. With his special training rate up, he, as opposed to Tokimitsu, is more in a role of creating tiles that then get boosted by others. And the unit that follows now, Reo, is kind of a mix of both. While he's only stat boosts other than the 2 good passives that he has, special training rate up and a 70% lecture bonus is pretty nice, considering he does have 4 tiles overall. So he is definitely deserving of that spot in A tier. If he had 1 or 2 better passives all around, he might even be considered in S tier. But despite that, he is still the worst Reo out of them all, and why that is we will see soon enough. As for Raichi, he's the same as Reo, just that he swaps special practice rate for a nice 20% training bonus, also having 70% lecture bonus and boosting a good amount of stats. Gacha Isagi now falls behind his other versions, since he only gets practice match bonus and condition recovery, but he's still a solid set overall, so he can stay in A tier. Same for V1 Bachira, he gets practice match bonus, but he does get a nice training bonus as well, making him a very good all-round provider unit with training bonus, lecture rate up, lecture bonus, and match bonus. Very versatile. If his tiles were better, just like the likes of Raichi, he would probably have been considered S tier. Now, Bicycle Kick Nagi is really good. He stays good, he gets a training bonus. Sadly, his other level 80 passive is just kick power fixed bonus. He is, as you will notice, the only character with a black-red card in A tier, but it's also the reason why he is on top of A tier. Lecture rate up, special training rate, and training bonus are still very good cards, but for kick, there are just better friend supports around, like Gagamaru or V2 Baro, even Kunigami or Pablo if you want, although they mainly have other purposes. Now let's move to S tier, the first one being God Sprinter Julian Loki. The reason he's in S tier is, for one, his black-red ultra shuttle run card, and for seconds, his constant speed, which means it takes a percentage of your speed gains and applies it on top of the card if Julian Loki is on there, which means together with his speed fixed bonus, speed boost, training bonus, and special training rate up, he can provide cards and even without a lecture, boost the speed value of those cards into the unfathomable, which is the reason why he just gets the edge of S tier. For Awakened Isagi lead actor stage, Isagi, the reason he gets the edge over Gachasagi is that he not only gets practice bonus like him, but he also gets another special training rate up. So now you have mental imagery special training rate up and regular special training rate up, which is really great and will result in him providing loads and loads of cards for others to boost. Now V1 Borrow is by far the worst one in this tier based on tiles. He's the only one without a black-red tile that just barely scrapes into S tier because he has both special training rate up, lecture rate, and special lecture bonus. So he is good enough to be considered S tier, but him and Nagi are fairly similar. So if you wanted to, you could place V1 Borrow in A tier and Bicycle Kick Nagi in S tier. They're very close. However, his villain version gets the edge from my side here, since he has a big 50% kick power boost multiplier. He boosts technical, he boosts intelligence, he has a lecture bonus, a training bonus, and a special rate up mixed with a black red blue lockman shot practice card, which is really that good if you think about it. So if you had to go for level 100 Borrow, take the Awakened version, the Villain Borrow. As for Awakened versions, the next one we have on the list is Rayo, who gets lecture rate up and special lecture bonus, which brings him from, I believe, B or C tier it was, to S tier. Because imagine his lecture bonus is the same as the one of Rayo V1, but just imagine, since we do have workout gear already, the workout gear helps with spawning a red-black dribbling training. He has the lecture rate needed to transform that tile into a lecture, and he immediately applies 70% of special lecture bonus. That's amazing, and in the current game, he is definitely the second best technical provider after Pablo, who is an S+, as you will see later. Gagamaru is next. He is essentially Honda from the Japanese version of the game, with a huge kick bonus, training bonus, and on level 80 he gets special training rate up and lecture rate up. So while he doesn't have the lecture bonus of Rayo, he helps with spawning more cards due to his special training rate up, and since he does have a black-red tile, he is very deserving of S tier. As for the next physical kick character, Kunigami, who I personally rate above Gagamaru for now, having, like Tokimitsu, a 60% physical boost, a 40% kick boost, a practice match bonus, special lecture bonus, training rate up, and a black-red exercise machine card, making him by far the best physical support in the game, and a must-friend support for every physical comp there can possibly be. X-Nagi just barely scrapes below S+ tier, and that is due to special lecture bonus only being 35%. He has training bonus, he has special practice rate up, and he has 3 shooting tiles, one of them being a black-red, which is really nice, but you can't really be an S+ tier with only 35% lecture bonus, training bonus, and special training rate. Talking about the oh-so great S tier, we've got 3 units here. S+ tier, Mitoma V2, Pablo, and X Rayo. Let's start with Pablo, since he is not limited. He has the dribbling special training occurrence, he has the black-purple dribbling training card, which can give you a turn extension, which is a brand new mechanic to the game, first introduced by Pablo himself. He boosts technical, he boosts kick, he has a special lecture bonus, he has a practice match bonus, and he even has a training bonus And like Loki, he has constant technical boost up. He essentially combines all the good aspects of Loki and uh, Nagi, but also trades the black-red cards for a black-purple one. Great character, amazing technical support, a must for every technical comp, maybe even Kick, although for Kick I would rather have you use Willenbauer as a friend if you had to choose. That is unless you don't have Roulette Volley X Seishiro Nagi. Now let's go over the other not limited unit, Mikage Reo Sniper Pass. I don't think I have to explain why he is so good, I think everyone knows. And while he only has the same passives as Nagi, with special training rate, training bonus, and special lecture bonus, that special lecture bonus slaps. I'm very sure all of you have seen one of those Reo lecture black-red cards. 120% lecture bonus is off the charts. The World 5 coming soon will start introducing 100% lecture bonus as opposed to what is now popular, 70% on the max, as shown by Reo V1, Awakened Reo, or Raichi. And Reo does not have 100 like the next few units will. He comes on max level with 120% lecture bonus. And oh damn, does that make a difference. There's a reason why speed is the best trainable stat in the game, and that reason is Sniper Pass. Reo Mikage. As for the last unit of this tier list video and in S plus tier, we have determined to win Kaoru Mitoma. And this guy is so amazing. He boosts speed and technical, which helps with all of his tiles. He has a black-red Ultra Shuttle Run card, fitting into the speed theme of Loki and X-Reo. He has lecture rate up, he has special lecture bonus, and on level 80 his passive is Ultra Shuttle Run, special training occurrence, and dribbling training, special training occurrence. So he essentially boosts the occurrence rate of all of his tiles while also already having lecture rate up, special lecture bonus, and a black-red tile at that, which more than deserves his spot in S plus tier. So far for the video, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again in the very next video. Bye!